So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So we just had Mike Tyson v Roy Jones. We didn't have it. We had it like 12 hours ago. Making a video now. Uh, I thought it was a decent scrap. Decent scrap. I think Roy Jones was doing a lot of holding. And Mike Tyson actually looked very good. He looked really, really good. I thought, he looked strong. He looked sharp. He looked fast. I didn't expect him to be that fast. And most impressively, his stamina was great. I thought he looked really, really good. I think Roy Jones had just retired recently. He's been fighting. He's been active. I think he stopped fighting 3 years ago. And Mike Tyson looked more fitter. Mike Tyson looked sharper. He looked faster. And to be honest, how they called that fight a draw was shambolic, really. I thought Mike Tyson won comfortably. I thought Mike Tyson easily won that fight. Easily won that fight. God knows how. God knows. God knows how they call that fight a draw. It was no way a draw. Mike Tyson clearly won that fight. Clearly won that fight. Roy Jones wasn't doing a lot. It felt like he was trying to survive in there against a very strong, bullish Mike Tyson. And Mike Tyson didn't really go headhunting either. He was hitting a lot of body shots. A lot of people online were saying, it seemed a bit like a fix. With Mike, why isn't Mike hitting him in the head? I don't know. I don't know. It seemed a bit weird. Mike Tyson looked very good though. I will say that. Roy Jones didn't look that great. I think he had flashes of he had moments in the fight where he let his hands go, but he felt gun shy. He felt a bit reluctant because of how powerful and strong Mike Tyson was. And listen, it's Mike Tyson. Anyone will feel gun shy. And let's not forget, Roy Jones is a naturally smaller man. Mike Tyson's huge. Mike Tyson he was great. He looked good. He looked sharp. He looked really, really sharp. I wasn't expecting Mike Tyson to look like that good. I thought after 2 rounds, Mike Tyson would be done. Mike Tyson was in the final round, he was looking sharp. Mike Tyson really, really impressed me. I thought it was an impressive performance for a guy that's 54 years of age. Imagine a 54-year-old fighting like that. It was an unbelievable performance, I reckon. I think it was a really good performance by Tyson. To be honest with you, now Mike Tyson, I think Mike Tyson wants to do more exhibitions. And listen, I don't blame Mike Tyson. He looked really sharp. He looked really, really sharp. He looked like he took a few punches as well. His chin didn't look too bad. He just looked sharp. He just looked really, really sharp. I was really impressed with Mike Tyson. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, it was rubbish. And it was intriguing first seeing Roy Jones and Mike Tyson fight. But I think it was more intriguing watching Mike Tyson because we haven't seen Mike Tyson in a ring for so long. And Mike Tyson's an icon. He's like I said, after Ali, Mike Tyson's probably the second most well-known boxer in boxing history. He's globally recognized. Everybody knows who Mike Tyson is. And I think the intrigue, I think a lot of people tuned in. And listen, I think Roy Jones in the build-up got disrespected. Roy Jones was like an afterthought. And this is probably one of the greatest fighters of all time, Roy Jones. And he was almost being considered an afterthought. But that's just how big Mike Tyson is. That's how big commercially Mike Tyson is. People that intrigue. People just want to watch him fight because he's exciting. You don't know. It's the unpredictability factor with Mike Tyson as well. But I thought Mike Tyson was brilliant. Considering the age, considering how good I thought he was sharp. For someone at that age to go as many rounds as they both did, to be fair. But the fact that Mike Tyson was inactive and hadn't fought for so long, right? And he was able to go the distance and not even break sweat. I think Mike Tyson could have upped the gears. It was as if Mike Tyson was fighting in first gear. I mean, he looked great in first gear. I felt like if Mike Tyson wanted to go into third gear, he could have and taken Roy Jones out at any time. I do. Mike Tyson looked brilliant in there. I'll be honest with you. I was really, really impressed. So some of you may disagree, but I thought Mike Tyson was brilliant. And I think he deserves both of them deserves a lot of credit for getting in there at the age they are. I know that it was for charity, I believe. I think they were doing it for charity. So it's a great cause. I would love to see Mike Tyson again. I I think he looked good. What about him against Lennox? That would be great. I'd love to see him against I think Evander looked really off it. Mike Tyson still looks very sharp. He still looks very, very sharp, and he still looks good. And I think, obviously, in terms of fighting a young heavyweight, no, obviously that would be not. That would obviously be a disaster. But again, are there certain, like Dave Allen said that he could beat Mike Tyson, right? On that performance, Mike Tyson would obliterate Dave Allen. No problem. He wouldn't beat Mike Tyson. No way. Mike Tyson would obliterate Dave Allen, in my opinion, even now. Like, on that performance, he looked good. I thought he looked good. And I think even maybe a little level above, he could be competitive, and if not even win. Obviously, if now you're talking about him competing against top guys, then of course not. He's 54. But, if he's fighting guys like Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, or guys of his own age, or lower tier heavyweights, like I'm saying lower level heavyweights, I believe he could do a job on a lot of heavyweights. Not higher level heavyweights, not top 20, top 10. I'm talking, maybe top 50. I'm definitely think, imagine Mike Tyson against Charles Martin, right? I think he batters Charles Martin. I think Konaki, Hellenius, guys like that, I feel he batters them, to be honest with you. I do. And I think he looked really good. I was really impressed. Mike Tyson's always had a good chin. He's always been fast twitch muscles. He's always been a great fighter. I know some people question his resume and who did he fight, but a lot of these guys didn't fight a prime Mike Tyson. A lot of these guys, when Mike fought Mike Tyson fought Evander Holyfield, and he fought Lennox Lewis, that was a Mike Tyson that wasn't in his prime. I know a lot of people want to question, he lost to those guys when he fought. Yeah, he did, but he wasn't the same Mike Tyson that we saw, bashing people in the 80s. It wasn't the same Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson was an absolute beast back then. He was wiping the floor with a lot of guys. I know Larry Holmes was past his best, but Larry Holmes would have been a match for a lot of other guys. But for Mike Tyson, he was just too strong, too quick, too sharp at that point, and he battered Larry Holmes. And he dealt with a washed-up legend the way you should be dealing with a washed-up legend for a young, great prospect coming up. Or he wasn't a prospect, he was a world champ. But the way you should be dealing with an old veteran. And that's what Mike Tyson did. He didn't struggle. He didn't get chinned. Mike Tyson battered Larry Holmes. And he did what he had to do at that point. Mike Tyson's is one of my favorite fighters. When you look back in history, he was so exciting. And even now, the intrigue would always be there because Mike Tyson still got power. And like I said, in this fight against Roy Jones, I feel like he was holding something back. I don't think we saw Mike Tyson up in the gears. I think if he wanted to up the gears, I really think he could have stopped Roy Jones. I think he was holding himself back. I do. I don't think he was giving it 100%. I feel like if he wanted to, maybe because he was worried he may get tired. I don't know. That it could be that. Or it could just be the fact that it was an exhibition and they weren't going all out. But I really impressed. Mike Tyson looked very sharp. I think Roy Jones was looking to hang in there. I think he was definitely worried about Mike Tyson's power. He didn't want to get caught flush. And he was in there with Mike Tyson, so you would be, Mike Tyson's got a serious size advantage over Roy Jones. So, I'm pretty sure Roy Jones didn't want to get caught with anything flush. He knew it could have been big trouble for him. So I think fair play to both guys. They did it for a good cause. They made. I'm pretty sure both of them made some good money. And let's see if Mike Tyson gets back in the ring. Let's see if Roy Jones gets back in the ring. I don't think Roy Jones will probably get back in the ring. I don't think he looked like he wanted it as much as Mike seemed a lot more hyped and felt like, he wants to do this again. And if he's doing it for charity and exhibition, I don't got a problem with it. I think he looked good. Honestly, I think he looked good. I thought Mike Tyson looked a lot better than I thought he would look. I thought this would be embarrassing and everybody would say, oh, this is terrible. Mike looks completely washed. He looked good. Of course, he's not going to be the old 80s Mike Tyson, but he definitely, you can't say he wasn't sharp for his age. He was really sharp. He surprised me, and I'm pretty sure he must have surprised a lot of people. He looked good. He looked good, and fair play to him. He did. I thought he did really well, and he definitely won that fight. Come on. He definitely beat Roy Jones. How they didn't give him that decision is beyond me. Like that, he won virtually every round. Roy Jones didn't do any. I didn't think Roy Jones did a lot, to be honest. I thought Mike Tyson won comfortably, won virtually every round, and deserved to win, get the decision. But I think because it was an exhibition, they just called it a draw. I think it might have even been fixed prior. There's no way Roy Jones won that. Or sorry, not won that, drawn that. It was not even close. To be fair, he didn't win hardly any rounds. I don't think he won any. I think Mike Tyson probably won every round. But great performance both two. They both got in there, put it on the line. They are quite old, so it's dangerous getting in there at that age. But yeah, I still think Mike Tyson especially really impressed me. Bearing in mind he's been inactive, like he's not fought for 15 years. It's not the old. It's not Mike Tyson. I think he did really well. Fair play to him. I think he put on a good performance. And let's see what's next for both. Whether they continue, whether Mike Tyson carries on with these exhibitions, or whether Roy Jones says enough's enough. I can't do this anymore. Let's see. Let's see. What do you guys think? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you're thinking, guys. Remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.